that again.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
How are we going to do it?
We do it different every time. I don't know.
We are
Big,
love,
hug. I don't know what I do with the T.
Okay.
Here we are. But we're together.
Yeah. Yeah, we decided to do an episode not from our own homes a mile away from each other, but actually sitting next to each other on my couch.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, and partly we decided to do it like this because I'm moving soon. Like really soon, within a month. I'm leaving Eugene for the first time in 30 years. We've been here for 30 years.
Yeah, we have.
We both moved here the same month.
Yep.
May of 1993.
And we didn't meet until 96, something like
Seven,
that.
six probably.
Mhm.
And like
Wow.
many of us who wound up being friends descended upon Eugene in the same moment.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Do you remember the rainbows?
The rainbows?
That's why we stayed here. There were rainbows like in the sky the week that we moved here.
Huh.
Every day. We're like, I guess we're staying. We
Wow.
just came here to drop our stuff off and then look for the right place to live.
Well, that's
And-
spring in Eugene, you
Yeah.
know, the weather changed. I mean, here we are, it's March,
Almost spring,
right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
It, like the weather probably, well, not, I don't know, every place does that, but Eugene more than any place I've ever lived,
Mhm.
where the weather is, you know, rainy and then hail and then sunny and then
Yeah,
hot and
and
then
then
snow.
That's how it has been today. You know what's like that is Hawaii. Hawaii is also very
there's
much.
there's a big connection between Eugene and Maui,
Yeah.
actually. There's a lot of crossovers.
Exactly. Maui is what I mean by Hawaii.
Yeah.
When I say Hawaii, I mean Maui.
So actually,
Speaking of which.
right, we're here to talk about seasons and the weather.
Yeah, that's our focus today is seasons and the weather. Not just talking about the weather like chit chat.
Yes, and actually,
Mhm.
side note, so when my grandma was older, my dad's mom, we called her Mom, I would call her every Sunday and we would talk for 20 minutes about the weather. She lived in Miami, North Miami Beach.
Mhm.
All we would talk about was the weather, but what I actually heard was I love you. Like that, because that's all we had
Aw.
to talk about. We really didn't have anything else to talk about, but it was just something to talk about.
Right.
Really, what we were saying underneath it is I love you. And that's just
Yeah.
how that. So when people talk about the weather, actually, that's what I hear is like, I don't know how to relate to you. I don't know what to say, but I really want to be connected to you. Like,
Right.
yeah.
That's what we're saying. We love you.
We
We're
love
going to talk
you.
about the weather. You know what's so interesting is that the weather can really affect people. So when you talk about the weather, even though that sounds like a surfacey thing to talk about, which we're actually going to go much deeper today. But when you talk about the weather, maybe we're more talking about how we're affected, like what's going on inside of us.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot more than just the weather.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's interesting having lived in Eugene. I really chose Eugene consciously, you know. It's like you come here and you choose it, but then you also choose to stay. And I chose to stay. And part of it was there was something about the like rainy, misty, gray, long winters that I really loved. They kind of like pulled me inside and I got to bundle up and write poetry and drink tea on the couch. And I chose that for a while. Maybe forgetting that there were other options. But yeah, there's something, it evokes something in me. And I think only certain kinds of people can actually stay in Eugene.
Well, it's not as wet as it used to be, for sure. When I first moved here all those years ago, I actually remember thinking, I don't know if I can live here.
Right.
Like
You're
I'll
more
give
sensitive
I'll give it a whole round of seasons, but I'm not sure I could stay here for these long, wet months because I am so affected by it.
Yeah. But Jess happens to live in the house in Eugene. That's
house.
That's the one house that's always like sunny and hot and warm and comfortable and like has a beautiful view. And like I'm over here freezing on my couch and she's outside
In a t-shirt.
It's like when it's 32 degrees at my house, it's 70 at her house, a mile away, literally.
That's true. We have south-facing windows, and the whole wall of the house is windows. So when it's sunny in the winter, when the sun is low, it streams in the house, and it's so warm. And then
It's like
the
passive
deck,
solar kind
it
of
is.
design.
It was brilliantly designed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
actually have to open the windows in the winter. Like it could be snowing outside, or if snow had fallen, but if it's sunny, we have to open the windows. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect.
Oh my God. Jealous. Everybody in Eugene is jealous. People are jealous.
Yay! Just what I want.
Yay!
All right, what shall we talk? Where do we start? What should we do?
Well, we wanted to talk about seasons and we wanted to talk about weather. And when we were talking about that, we were saying how weather is kind of, when we think about internally, weather, it's like the ever changing, like here in Eugene, it's like the ever changing circumstances, right? Or feelings. We can think of emotions as our weather, right?
Mhm.
That they pass through and they change regularly. And do you want to talk about this? Because you love talking about this.
I do. I do. So when somebody says, "Well, how are you feeling today?" and it's like I'm feeling kind of blue, and like they get really attached to like an identity almost. Like I'm feeling whatever you're feeling, but that changes. If you notice over time, generally, what you're feeling changes. For me, what I'm feeling changes. Day to day, sometimes moment to moment. I'll feel lots of different things in a day,
Mhm.
and what I'm becoming more aware of is that things that are changing aren't actually me, like who I am in my heart of hearts. That doesn't change, but my feelings change like the weather, which has been really helpful to deal with the ups and the downs and the volatility of the weather of my feelings, to know that it's interesting, like a story is interesting, but to be less identified with it.
Yeah.
The more I identify with my heart of hearts, like who I really am, like what is my life's purpose, or
Mm.
what is my home in my heart, like
Your essence.
right, the
What's your
essence.
essence?
What am I
Yeah.
how who do I want to be in the world? How do I want
Mm-hmm.
to be being
Mm-hmm.
in the world is
Yeah.
so different than this like volatile, ever-changing weather pattern.
Right, right, right.
I think it was Pema Chodron who said, "You are the vast blue sky, and everything else is just weather."
Mm-hmm.
And I actually use this image a lot, where I pan out in my mind like a satellite image. Like if I'm in a swirling storm of emotions, something really happening, and I'm getting swept away in this storm of emotions, to actually, when I meditate, like pull myself up like I'm in a satellite image above the clouds and seeing the weather pattern from above.
Yeah.
So I'm not identified and I'm not in it like this. I can see myself
Mm.
as the vastness, and the storm isn't me.
Right. It's
I find that
always
very
beautiful up
helpful.
above the clouds, isn't
Yeah,
it?
when you're flying over a
Yeah.
storm.
So beautiful up there. Blue skies always,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
underneath
It's
you is
like,
that beautiful carpet of
wow.
clouds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
I want to tell a quick story about my mom, if that's okay.
Of course.
So when my mom was dying, my mom and I had like lots of kind of, it wasn't easy. We didn't have an easy relationship. Um, and in process work, you would say that that was about dreamland, like the roles and our personalities. We just didn't fit together like gloves. We were like a glove in a hand or something. We just kind of like clashed a little bit. We were like clashing clothes, like what I'm wearing today. If you could see everything that I'm wearing. Actually, never mind. There's more. There's more clothes that you can't see, but nothing matches. But I don't care, okay? I don't care. Anyway, that's besides the point. So me and my mom kind of clashed in a certain way, but she was great to me. And when she was dying, though, it's like I realized that all of our stories and all of our personality just fell away. It was not there. It was no longer about our personality, because she was in a like death coma, and her personality was gone at that point. And she was just her essence, and it allowed me to just be my essence. And I could feel just our essences connecting in this beautiful karmic eternal way. That what came to mind for me was, if you read Eat Pray Love, you read it, right? When what's her name, Elizabeth Gilbert is in India, and they're at the temple, and she's trying to reconcile her divorce, and she doesn't understand why they split up, or like she was just trying to get to the bottom of that, or understand it, or have some resolution around it. And she saw, this is my recollection from reading it like 20 years ago, she saw her essence and her ex-husband's essences as two blue lights spiraling off the spire of the temple early in the morning. And when she saw that, it was like everything was okay. Like in some dimension, her essence and her husband's essences would forever, eternally be spiraling among themselves. And that was the feeling I had with my mother, is just that our essences finally got to do their dance without all the stories,
Yeah.
without the weather,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
without what was going on for me in my little world and personality, and her
Mhm.
in her little world and personality. We were beyond that, or deeper than that. And yeah, it was really a relief. And I think it's so beautiful. And it gave me the gift, like, if I could connect to my essence now in all my relationships, you know, and let go of some of those roles and the dreamland stuff and the personality stuff, just life can be easier if I just think of us as essence to essence.
Right.
You know, it's just easier. We don't have to get so gripped on like my
Um,
ideas and your ideas, and, you know,
and get caught up in the storm.
in the storm and the stories.
I
Yeah.
love that you were able to experience that while you were alive for yourself. I had a similar experience after my dad died.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a very hard person. He had a big heart, but the interpersonal relationships in the family, he was just kind of like out to lunch. And as soon as he died, all the stories disappeared.
Yeah.
All of whatever he was hanging on to, whatever anger or whatever story was on earth disappeared, and I just felt him as love.
Yeah.
It was just love everywhere. And I jokingly say, but it's true, my relationship with my dad got so much better after he died.
My mom too.
It was
Everybody.
the best relationship now,
Yeah,
but to be
yeah.
able to tap into it while you're still alive,
Yeah.
like, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
And my recollection of the book, I actually only read the eat part.
Oh, really?
I love the eat part.
The rest is so much better. It
Oh
gets
God,
better
really?
and better.
Oh man, I
yes.
just wanted pizza. That's my
You had to
recollection.
stop. You're like, what's this book gonna get me into? I know.
So I have to go
That
back
was
and
good.
read and
Oh, you
read
gotta read.
the
Yeah.
Pray Love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
So
the
good.
eat was pretty good.
One thing I wanted to say, just based on what we were just talking about, is this great phrase that I heard not too long ago, which is that people die, but relationships never do.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. People
Yep,
live on through the
that's true.
relationships that we have with them. Yeah.
That's true. For sure. I feel my
Yeah.
dad all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And people, I believe people get even more present, like kind of ever present once they die, once they're not kind of limited by the illusion of the body,
Right.
right? Then 10 people could be thinking of a person at once, and that person could be with 10 people at a time.
That's true.
Whereas when we're in a body, in the illusion of separateness, I guess, yeah, we don't
really
have as much
limiting.
access. Yeah, we don't have as much access to each other. I mean, we can, I think. We just tend not to, I'd say, is my guess.
We
I don't want to
do.
make big generalizations
Yeah,
about
I feel
everyone.
like in our
but-
dreamland, there's like a lot of that magic in dreamland.
Yeah, yeah. And in synchronicity,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just over and over and over the synchronicities in my life.
I know, stuff just happened today, which is like, what? Like that? I was just talking about you and you
Right.
showed up right here, right now? Like,
Right.
what?
Right.
Like, that just happened today. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's circle back to
The weather
is there
and the
anything
seasons.
more about the weather before we move on to seasons?
No, we just wanted to give people that gift, a big love hug, that you could see your emotions or your temporary kind of internal atmosphere as just that, as the weather, and there might be some deeper essence inside yourself that you could connect to.
I actually had a dream a couple of years ago about a friend of mine who was really struggling with something in his stories. Like, he was really caught up in the story in his own mind storm. Is another term I really love, a mind storm. And in my dream, he came to me and I said, "How are you doing?" And he said, "Without story, I'm perfect." And it stuck with me. It's like,
Nice.
without a story, I'm perfect.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all are. We
Yeah.
are. We're perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
And just like the whole perfection thing, it's been really up for me, not inside myself, but around me lately, is just the pain that perfectionism brings people. It's just like, it is impossible to be perfect. Nobody is ever going to be
Well,
perfect.
that's interesting. The difference between perfect and perfectionism, because perfect is like, even pain can be perfect. Like the human experience or whatever, whatever you're suffering, like, if you pull back away from the story and see it from a satellite image, like it's all perfect, which is different than
Exactly.
perfectionism, which is like a should word,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Should.
Exactly. Should. Right. Big eye roll. Should.
Whoa.
Everybody do it with us.
Whoa.
Should. Every time I say should, I do that.
Me
If I
too.
if I catch myself, should.
Yes.
Do you have a special
Ugh. I got
effect?
the ugh.
um Okay, where were we? We were talking about perfection and perfectionism. It's just people who feel like they should be perfect is what I'm saying, which
Right,
is
right,
perfectionism. Yeah,
right.
it's just so damaging. It's so painful. And
Mm-hmm.
I do think, I got a great gift from Tenbin, my ex-partner, when I was, we were together when I was in my early 20s, but he used to say, "You are the perfect Amy, and I am the perfect Tenbin." And it was just like it just gave me, it just freed me,
Exactly.
it's just
Yep.
like I'm always going to be perfect. Everybody is their perfect selves. We're perfectly imperfect, we are all perfectly exactly who we are. And to strive for any kind of perfection is misery,
It's true. Suffering.
yeah, to blame ourselves or feel negative about ourselves for not being perfect is just, yeah, unnecessary suffering. There's some
Mm-hmm.
suffering that we have to go through. That is not one.
Mm-hmm.
We could definitely leave that one by the roadside
Mm-hmm.
and, yeah, drive over it a couple times and move on, because guess what? There's no such thing as really being perfect. So accepting ourselves for exactly who we are with all of our idiosyncrasies. I'm just looking at my two braids and how, like, this one's way up here and that one's way down there. Before this podcast, I did this one and just did this one.
Yeah,
Mine's
they're a
it's
little
kind of
different.
coming out.
It's cute though.
But anyway, yeah, it just like reminds me of my, like, my own
Perfectly
idi
imperfect.
my own idiosyncrasies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's cute.
And wouldn't we be boring if we were all like perfect? If we were, would we all be the same? Is that what that means? Or
I don't know.
yeah,
I never want to find out.
yeah,
I never want to find out.
yeah, yeah. So yay for variety and uniqueness and diversity within
Which is
ourselves.
the perfect segue into seasons.
Great, take it away, Jess.
Variety in individuals. So,
Yeah.
talking about the seasons, obviously there's the seasons, right? But the season of where you are. Um,
Seasons of our lives.
so we were talking about that, like just honoring that your season might be different than the season that's actually happening. For example, spring is we're coming into spring, but maybe there's something that like is calling you in to go hibernating right now when the world is starting to sprout. And then
Exactly.
there can be some kind of like, I shouldn't feel like I need to hibernate because everyone's getting excited for spring or things are popping. I should be popping too.
Should.
Right, exactly. So just the giving ourselves permission to first notice what season you're in and what part of your life, because it could be different seasons for different parts of your life, like relationship or career or whatever.
Mhm.
And then allowing it to be okay, giving
Mhm.
ourselves permission to, this part of me really needs to hibernate even though everyone else is running in the streets half naked or whatever,
Right. Right. Yeah, and that seasons are natural, like in everything, in any relationship, in any career, in any relationship with a town like Eugene,
Right,
how I'm in my like deep fall with Eugene getting ready to leave.
right.
And but that just means that I'm going to be, starting another cycle with Eugene, right? Like I'm going to go through a cycle of home and of my relationship to Eugene. So, yeah, so wherever you feel disturbed, if you feel disturbed in some part of your life, like Jess is saying, like not feeling aligned in some way, check it out and see where you feel like you are at seasonally in that aspect of your life, and recognize it and honor it as much as you can. If you're ending a job, it brings a certain mood along with it. The end of a job,
Mm-hmm.
the fields are then fallow, nothing is growing, you might not know what you're going to be doing yet next. But allowing that space of hibernation and rest and sleep and just letting the cycle be what it is and not shoulding ourselves into a different phase because nature takes time. Nothing, even though we have kind of a fast-paced world and you can look everything up in 2 seconds, doesn't mean that that's how your bigger cycles and phases are going to go.
So can you speak to like a for yourself, do you feel, I mean, you're pretty in tune with things, but is there an area in your life where you feel incongruent between the season where you are and the season where you feel like you should be? Does that live in your life in any way?
I feel like I'm pretty like in step with myself that I accept. It's funny, I hear my belly, but my belly is making sounds. Maybe I'll listen to that. See if my belly is trying to say something. Something's kind of stormy inside.
Sure, that was yours. I thought it was mine.
No, I'm a little gassy right now. Definitely it was me. um, I think that's a blooper.
Fair enough.
um, let's see. Do I feel like, well, I mean, I'm thinking about Numair, my cat over there, and he's definitely getting ready. He's old now, and he won't live all that much longer, I don't think. I
How
don't,
old is he?
he's probably like 15 or so.
Oh,
And so I resist that a little bit. I resist him dying. I feel kind of attached to him, and I don't, I want to stretch out his fall for a long time. I don't want him to die yet. I'm not ready to have my winter with him. That's one. Um,
For
yeah.
me, I feel like menopause is a big one for me. You know, like I'm
Mhm.
kind of resisting. I take away the word kind of
Huh.
resisting shifting into another chapter. Like I don't want. I really love feeling youthful. I love attached. I'm attached to like looking youthful. Like I want to
Mhm.
look young and cute
Mhm.
forever, you know, like I just stopped dyeing part of my hair. Like that's a big deal to let some of my gray come in, but not, I'm
Mhm.
not ready for all of it to come in yet, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I feel like menopause is definitely a different season. You know, it's definitely
Oh
like
yeah.
heavy fall.
Yeah.
um and I feel I resist it. I'm not quite ready. Like I feel
Mm.
like yeah, like I dress younger than my 18-year-old child. We always joke that they're more mature than me. I think since they were 11,
Mhm.
they've been more mature than me. So I don't know. I'm just looking at that and seeing how if I embraced it, I don't know, I'm not ready.
Mm.
I don't know.
I know that for me, I like feel like a little kid. I don't know if it's because I'm a small person or it just feels like my personality. Like I don't feel that different than I felt when I was young. And I don't think that spirits age. I don't think I mean, our personalities could age if we wanted them to, I guess. But I feel really young in myself. Even though like my body is changing and I'm obviously not as young as I once was. But I feel really young inside. And that's the thing that I like that. I like feeling young. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so, I don't think I'm so attached to how young I look. I did recently dye my hair also because it was like, it had like this weird line here where it was like gray line and then dark. And I guess I could have made the choice to grow it out, but I like to henna my hair. So yeah, but I don't feel like it's because I actually really liked how it was looking. I don't. I took some polos and I looked like a wise. I thought I thought I looked so wise, like a wise old woman, like with the gray. Like I like that part. I don't mind that part of looking older. But as long as I feel young, I didn't like the line.
Mm-hmm.
I dyed my hair to get rid of that line. But um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you want to talk more about what that's about for you?
I don't know that I want to take this time to process it.
Okay.
I just sort of noticed that
Yeah.
that's kind of the spot in my life that
Hmm.
like
The resistance of the
yeah.
seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I
resisting my neck getting weirder.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I guess my thing would be more about death. Like I don't wanna I still want to live. Like I still feel like I have a lot to do. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I have a lot to share, a lot to teach, a lot to do. Like I want to have more experiences. I want to see more places. So that's with getting older, like it's kind of like the fire under my ass to like make sure I do everything I want to
Mm,
do.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't care so much, at least yet, about like the physical thing. I don't know why that's different for us, but it's like, why are we not the same person? I
Just
keep
in
trying
this
to
one
figure this
thing.
out. No, there's a lot.
There is
Remember,
a lot, yeah.
Remember how we're not the same person?
Oh yeah, vaguely rings a bell.
We figured that out.
People think we're the same person.
It's true. We are often
Mistaken for each other. I wonder why.
So anyway, yeah, so seasons, and we were talking about how with women and cycles, speaking of menopause, well, first of all, not enough people talk about menopause. My hair. Um, but also when women bleed, that's a natural cycle where it's like a winter, it's like a momentary winter where in the olden days the women would all bleed together first of all when they lived together, and they would also separate during their cycle so they could be together and go inward and connect and feel restful and supported. And now, like Jess said, just like stick in a tampon, put on your white pants, and go to work. Like we try to
We ignore it.
We try to
Override
push
it.
away,
We're overriding
push
our
the
natural cycles.
away. Yeah. Yeah. No moment for that. Right. Why did we get so far from the cycles, from the natural cycles? I wonder why we don't embrace them anymore. There's other things that are more important, like progress and success and like being like the man's world. Yeah,
exactly.
like the man's world. Be like a man, stick the tampon in,
Just
CEO
keep
style.
going forth, right? But
Right.
but that hurts everybody too. Like everyone has a winter. Like winter is really important.
Right.
Hibernation is really important. Like
Yeah.
you can't rebirth without death. You can't start anew without something dying. Like the leaves on the trees, they fall for a reason because then where will the new leaves come?
Right.
Or things need to die. Things need to go underground and hibernate and rest to recharge. I feel like the way that our society runs is like we're running on fumes without recharging. We don't allow ourselves the time and space to really rest so that we're replenished to start anew. We run ourselves ragged, and like there's so much illness because of that. I feel like
Right.
it's a disservice to all of us. And I don't know that I'm in an international community coaching program, and a lot of people are in Europe, and they talk about this thing called burnout, which is recognized in the workplace, and you can actually get paid time off.
Wow, like
for
maternity
a
leave,
year,
leave.
right? You can get burnout leave for a year. They pay you
Oh
if
my
you are
gosh.
burnt out to go freaking take care of yourself. And when I saw that on the intake form, I was like, well, I know what burnout is, but why is it on a medical intake form? Because
Right.
we just don't recognize that here in the
Right.
United States.
Right. No
It's
way.
not a thing.
No way. It's like buckle up and go to work and deal with it,
Have another cup of coffee
Right.
and an antidepressant,
pills.
and off you go.
These pills. Yeah, you'll be fine. And off you go with your little lunchbox.
Isn't that amazing? Like, wow, what an honoring of the seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. So just to say what the seasons are, winter is when things are fallow and it's hibernation time and not much is happening. Like we're saying, the red tent time when we just kind of go down, kind of like sleep. And springtime is like when you wake up in the morning, right? The spring of any cycle that you might be in is when
new relationship, that
yes,
the NRE new relationship energy, where it's
energy.
like, wow, this is amazing.
Sparks and things just starting to grow, and there's this energy of promise and excitement. And then summer would be kind of the season of abundance and like everything kind of in full bloom. And what else?
Like in a relationship, like past the honeymoon period to where like the relationship feels really solid and just like you can just
Commit,
right a whole
maybe.
yeah, just lean into it and trust that it's going to be there and it just
Yeah,
feels supported.
right. Like our friendship. We're in our summer.
Oh yes,
We're
for
deep
sure.
into
It's
the
a
summer.
long
Yeah,
summer.
it's a
It's
really long
endless,
summer.
endless
Endless summer.
summers.
Yay! And then fall is when you get to both harvest and also prepare for the winter, right?
Mhm.
You know that the winter's coming. You can feel it in the air. Squirrel away your nuts, get a bunch of squash or whatever,
Yeah, bounty.
Yeah, yeah. So it's harvesting, but it's also preparation for the winter when things will go fallow again and not much is happening.
And it's so important to have all of the cycles. You
Yes.
just can't live in one. It's just
Right.
imbalance. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
So in our
It's not
lives,
possible,
it's
right?
not. And what's interesting too is like I noticed we were talking earlier. I'm into I started salsa dancing not that long ago, and I'm definitely in the spring of dance. And at the same time, kind of like menopause is sort of deep fall, so like different parts of my life have different seasons, and it's really
Yeah,
interesting
right.
to notice it instead
Right.
of getting caught up in one or the other, to kind of like
Mm,
the weather too, and just seeing the changing patterns and
mm.
just noticing where they're different.
I just, when you were saying that, I was just thinking about like making like a big pie chart and putting all the different areas of your life and having like a
Mm,
little color coding for the different cycles,
mm,
the different seasons. Like, so you could see, like, oh, with Eli, your child, that
right.
like, you're in this phase with that on the
I'm this
verge of
close to
empty
being empty
nesting.
nester. I have a couple months left until they graduate and then
Mm-hmm.
off to college, so that's a huge shift of seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and the weather is very erratic. There's a
Right.
lot of weather patterns in that
Within
season.
the season. Right, right. Yeah,
Right?
wild weather.
It's a
Yeah,
wild,
climate change.
it's a wild, wild weather.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
just fun just to notice that and not get so
Mm-hmm.
identified with it. And it
Mm-hmm.
feels more playful too. It feels less tragic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And knowing that it's going to shift and change too, and where I am now is not where I'm going to be forever.
Right, exactly. It couldn't stay, right? This
Mm-mm.
phase couldn't stay.
Right? This too shall
It's
pass,
nature.
right? For sure.
Yeah.
But there's a piece of us that is unchanging, which I really love feeling into that too, like that essence,
Yeah.
that I feel like I can weather any storm because I feel more connected than ever to what you call essence, or what I
Mm-hmm.
call heart.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking before how, like, for me, I find mine as the vertical channel, that line that goes from the perineum up through the crown, and that was our most recent podcast episode, was about finding that vertical channel and attuning to it. And yeah, I just want to say it, just because it's right now I can hear it. I can hear my vertical channel, and it happened. I've been doing realization process and basically finding the vertical channel for several years now. But when I started doing the Wim Hof breathing, now I can hear it. It created a sound where I can hear my central channel all the time,
Wow.
and it's pretty radical. It's pretty rad. Yeah, pretty awesome.
So if you want to go back and learn the vertical channel meditation, go back
Hmm.
one episode, and Amy leads a beautiful meditation to find it.
Yeah, or you come to my classes. Yeah.
But you do have something to share.
You want to do the purpose exercise?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is an exercise from the good old days, the Do What You Love project. And so I used to teach this kind of personal mythology course about kind of aligning with right livelihood. And let's see. Yeah, here it is. So I was going to do it with Jess, and you can do it too. So grab a piece of paper.
I've never done this before, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Do it along with me.
I'll tell you that what came out for me, I still use it, still on my altar. This was like probably like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It's still on my altar. I printed out many of these things and put them all over my house at one point. They were taped up everywhere. And
Love that.
so anyway, so the first thing to do with this exercise is to go into kind of like a little dreamy state. So just kind of let your spine wave and let your neck relax and come into your breath. Just feel that you're in your body and kind of somewhere between awake and dreams. And here's your first question. You're just going to answer it stream of consciousness. Just kind of let the pen do the work here. What do you do so effortlessly and naturally that it's like breathing to you?
How much long is
Just
it
keep
like?
going.
Okay.
Yeah, give yourself like 30 seconds or so to
Mhm.
do each one. Just writing words, lots of different words. Words, words, words. Told you.
Whoa.
Ready for the next one?
Mhm.
Okay. What do you love? What do you just completely enjoy doing so much that you lose track of time when you're doing it? Staying in that dreamy state, just letting it flow. Don't worry if it's true or not. Don't try to get it right. No perfection. Just write whatever. Okay, ready for the next one?
Mhm.
What have you accomplished in life that you feel great about? It could be large or small, but the feeling of satisfaction is there.
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. What have you accomplished in life that you feel great about? It could be big or small, but there's a feeling of satisfaction.
That one's easy.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. We'll give the audience another minute or so, or 30 seconds. Okay. Now stay. You got something
Okay, no,
else?
I'm good.
You sure?
Okay, okay.
One more. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're going to keep this dreamy like state and look back at all the things you just wrote and start to circle the words that you see that feel the most potent or powerful. 5 to 10 words. Got 5 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now pick 2 to 4 of your circled words that really get to the essence of who you are and what you're about.
How many? 2 to 4?
2 to 4. Mm-hmm. Got them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And now mix and match these words to create a statement that would be like purpose, a purpose.
There are only 2. I can't really mix and match 2.
Okay, well, they go in one direction or the other.
Okay.
Got it?
Uh-huh.
Now, make a picture with these words using color and any creativity you'd like to add. Some people actually would make songs with them when we did Do What You Love. Hang it somewhere where you will see it often. What is yours?
I came down to laughing and loving.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Laughing and loving. That's your purpose.
That's my purpose.
You got it. Pretty good one.
Hey, that's
Pretty
easy.
good one. That's a pretty good purpose, isn't it?
Mic
You have
drop.
such a good laugh. You have such a good laugh. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're very, very loving. Yeah. What do you think about it? Was that a good exercise?
It was really fun.
Cool.
It was really fun. I really liked that. It was.
Nice.
I loved how easy it was. There was no way to do it wrong. It's not about being perfect.
Right.
No should. Just like free flow. I love it. Yeah, some of the other words were like dancing and singing and being a mom, like all
Uh-huh.
of those things. I
Uh-huh.
just love all of those things.
Mm.
Love it. Yeah.
But laughing and loving were the
Laughing and
ones
loving were
that,
the big ones that popped
yeah,
out because
yeah,
that sort of encapsulates everything. Really,
yeah,
it's just loving. I
yeah.
mean, laughing is a bonus, but it's really just loving. I feel like that more than laughing because I
Uh-huh.
also love to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I love to cry.
Uh-huh.
Maybe crying should be laughing, loving, and crying.
Well, is crying your purpose, or do
Oh,
you love to
feeling.
cry?
I guess I love feeling, but
Mm-hmm.
really it's loving. Really, if I were to boil it all down, it would just be loving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is teach love. That's what came up for me. Teach love. Yeah. So it's nice if you have some verbs
Oh,
and
right.
yeah. I mean, loving is a verb,
Uh-huh.
right? So is laughing.
Yeah, yeah. Teach
Yeah.
love.
But it was nice to have that kind of like a
Mm.
subject and an object kind of
Mhm.
teach love. Yeah.
Mm. I could see this becoming be love.
Uh-huh.
Be
Yeah.
love.
Mm-hmm.
Be love. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's it. That's it. That's what's going up on my walls all over the place. Be
Okay.
love.
Great.
Be love. And then be love. Like beloved.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'd love to
Hey.
hear what yours are. If you want to
Be love.
message us and let us know what yours is or
Yeah,
are.
drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments below, wherever that is.
Subscribe here.
Just, go to that link and click the like over there. I think laughing maybe should be in there for you. I think it's I don't want you to get rid of the laughing. I just love it. I just
laughing and loving.
Yeah, I was even thinking about it earlier. At one point, we like burst into laughter. I just thought Jess has the best laugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. There's that love again. Look, and yours is love, and then mine is love.
Yeah.
And this is big love hug.
No accident there.
Makes sense.
No accident.
Yeah.
Well, this was super special.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be here together. The only thing
Yeah.
that was weird about being together is when
What do we look at? Is that what it is?
Well, that too, but also when we're separate is like when you're talking, I know the screen isn't on me, and then I can like,
Right, that's
fix
true.
myself. Like
we
because
couldn't pick
also
our
I'm like,
noises.
my boobs are off. Like, oh well, I'll just go like this.
my hair.
There we go. It's the camera.
Right. It's doing all kinds of weird things.
Blooper?
No.
All right. Well, this has been
Okay.
such a treat
Yeah.
to be here all together, as
Yeah.
always.
When I come and visit Eugene, we'll do our podcasts like this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Till then, we got Zoom.
Yeah, we'll be zooming.
Yeah.
It'll look just like regular. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, friends. Mwah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Till next
Big
time.
love
Oh,
hug.
bring it in. Bring
Bring it
it
in. Bring it in. Over here.
Love you.
Love you too. But my belly is making sounds.
Sure that was yours? I thought it was mine.
No, I'm a little gassy right now. Definitely owes me. I think that's a blooper. Remember how we're not the same person?
Oh, yeah. Vaguely rings a bell.
We figured that out.
People think we're the same person.
That's true. We are often mistaken
for each other. I wonder why.